the toughest job in the NBA, I think I would select Dave Cowens, who besides being a player is now the coach of the Boston Celtics. And Don Criqui talked to Cowens of Boston.
It came as a major surprise to just about everyone in basketball and everybody who follows the game when Dave Cowens accepted the job as player coach of the Boston Celtics. Dave, you started out in a hole. The team was 2-12 when you took over. You're about the halfway point of the season now. How does Dave Cowens, the coach, assess Boston?
Well, we've made some strides, I believe, in conditioning and having the team working together a little bit better. Our timing is better on our plays. I think we've just concentrated on a few things in order to get ourselves moving. Seems like the way that we best compete in this league is to run and to move and to push the ball up the floor. And if we stop doing that, we tend to go downhill very fast.
Dave, you've always been a private person. Has it been a difficult adjustment becoming player coach?
Not really. At first, the vocal cords and the throat had to get used to the excessive talking at practices, to the players, in meetings with the coaches, and talking extensively with Red Auerbach, and trying to learn as much as possible about coaching and strategies, as well as talking with the press after games. At first, even more so than now, because it was new, and I figured after 2 or 3 weeks it would die down and everything would return to normal, basically.
Dave, there's a lot of young men who'd like to be Dave Cowens, live your life as an NBA All-Star. And yet you said in the past that you think the public might accord too much celebrity to basketball players, to professional athletes in general. Do you still feel that way?
I think if a young person wants to be a pro player, and then that's all well and good. There's sports are super for people. There's the competition involved, and you get to work in a group setting, and it's super to learn how to get along with other people. But sometimes I think a celebrity or a professional athlete's personal life is dealt with too extensively. And this is the only thing that I disagree with. We're out here to play basketball. The reason people know us is because of our basketball skills. They usually don't go into getting involved with your less talented people or the guys that you don't know very well, the marginal players. Usually they don't go into their personal lives very much. They only try to hit on the fellas that have done very well and succeeded. And then, instead of concentrating just on basketball, they want to get into all the, how's your married life and what do you do on your off time and all that stuff, which basically, in my opinion, is nobody's business. If a guy wants to answer and he wants to tell him, fine. If not, he shouldn't be considered aloof or a recluse because he doesn't want to share that knowledge.
Dave, you were married a few months ago. Does your new bride, Debbie, like this lifestyle, being in the public eye as much as you both are?
I think she likes it all right. I think sometimes people start asking her about different situations or our home life and that she doesn't know. She's never been accosted by strangers, in the Boston Garden or on the street. So I think it's a little bit new to her also, and she's handled it very well.
After every basketball season, win or lose, Dave Cowens always headed right back to the farm in Kentucky. Is that where the Cowens would eventually like to spend all their time?
Well, we bought a house here in Needham, Massachusetts in November, so I'll probably be spending most of my time up here. The farm is really, that's been overplayed a bit, I think. I bought 30 acres. I wouldn't really call it a working farm or a farm as such. I'd call it a big backyard, more so than a working farm, yes.
But would you eventually go back there when you're done playing, or you're not sure?
I don't know. Now that I'm married, I'm kind of, separated from, the Kentucky scene, and have to go on, maybe have kids in the future, so.
I think the one thing that people will always have a recurring question about, and that they'd like to ask you, Dave, people who are watching who follow the NBA, they were quite stunned when in 1976 you took your now famed sabbatical. Why did you leave then?
Because I didn't think that I was getting anything out of basketball, and I wasn't giving anything. So it wasn't a very good relationship between myself and the game, and I decided that the only way to solve this problem was to get away from it.
You feel good about the game again now?
I think so, yeah. I resolved my problems.
All right, David, thank you for taking time out. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Dave Cowens, the player coach of the Boston Celtics.